Andrew, welcome to Talk Satellite.
Thank you very much, Kevin. It's a great privilege to have you here at the ETL facility in Hereford.
Andrew, please update us on where ETL Systems fits in the value chain.
Here we are at ETL Systems manufacturing facility in Hereford in the UK. And for us, the chain, as you put it, is the pipeline between the satellite dish and the modem. And primarily we're interested in RF distribution and good quality feeds within a satellite teleport. Fundamentally, we manufacture, test and design equipment here that delivers good quality, affordable and reliable signals into modern teleports. We've been operating in this market for over 30 years, and we are well known for the fact that we provide very reliable and very resilient designs with good RF performance. That means great isolation, great return loss, great insertion loss. These are the things that drive our designs and our products. I think it's important as well as we get bigger that our whole market gets bigger, because we're now not only producing our well-known L-band matrix routers, but we're also producing a wider range of RF over fiber and now moving into a new style of inline amplifiers. Again, all bringing good quality, reliable signal distribution for modern teleports to depend on.
It's a little over a year ago since our last interview. How have your expansion plans progressed in this time?
A good question, Kevin, one that's quite relevant. We're sitting in a new manufacturing facility, the third facility that we've got on site. Each of these buildings contains different types of manufacturing and distribution, design and testing equipment. So we're now very pleased to be running 2 SMT lines, and the biggest change as well is that we've reached over 100 employees at ETL Systems. I think this is indicative of the growth in the SATCOMs market and the number of signals that people are downlinking and, as a result, relying on ETL's equipment to deliver that signal into their teleport. It's a natural growth. It's one that we've increased by offering new technologies. I mentioned Stingray, our RF over fiber range, and here we've sold over 500 uplinks and 500 downlinks in the last few months. And this has been a real growth sector because we're a well-known brand, and I think those are the sort of messages we want to build upon. The States market has been a continued success for us. Historically, we've always had the majority of our market has come from the USA, and Susan Sadat, who runs our US team, has done a great job in pushing out, not just in our established broadcasters and the satellite operators market, because she has obviously a history with Intelsat, but she's done very well persuading the government and military operators to choose ETL for some of their downlink facilities. Pleased to announce as well that we've taken on board a new head of the Latin American region, and again we'll be looking at further expansion in Latin America to support some of the projects that I've historically been working on in this region, not just Brazil, Mexico and Chile, but also the smaller SATCOM countries in this area too.
One of the most discussed issues are the changes in bandwidth and modulation. How does this affect ETL Systems' offering and your customers' performance?
Well, for us, we have to make sure that our 30 design engineers are well aware that high throughput satellites and Ka-band satellites mean that our downlink designs within our splitters and matrices and amplifiers have to change to be able to manage a different bandwidth. For us, modulation is not an issue because obviously we're just passing any signal, whatever its modulation, but the bandwidth is the challenge. I mentioned earlier about the importance for return loss and isolation and other RF performance. So we're moving out of the established L-band running between about 850 and 2.1 gigahertz, and we're extending the performance of our splitter and combiner equipment to go up to 2.5 gigahertz and beyond. And certainly that means that as teleports have to handle more of these downlink feeds, we are finding that the equipment also needs to be more compact and needs to be able to not just handle the existing dishes that are there, but it also got to handle the new dishes that are coming online.
Satellite as an industry, do we spend enough on R&D?
That's a very good question, Kevin, and one which we have been discussing recently. Here at ETL, R&D is driven very much by the customers, and from our point of view, we have invested in an R&D centre in London to be able to respond to the changes that our customers want in the market. Certainly with the pressure on transponders and the pressure on bandwidth, we have to make sure our equipment changes to be able to carry these new signals and carry them reliably. So it's not only upgrading our existing splitters and matrices and amplifiers, but it's also making sure that they are changing to meet demands like remote control and monitoring, as well as making sure that they are in the smallest form factor possible. Going back to your original question, I think R&D spend, not only for manufacturers like us, but also for the satellite operators, I think we have to maintain it. And from my point of view, I see a lot of infrastructure and design spend being invested in the market as the marketplace changes, not just with new satcoms industry, but also with the challengers and competitors who are forcing us to innovate and offer our end customer a good solution to make sure that satellite is seen as reliable, dependable, affordable, and unique in comparison to IP or fibre solutions delivering signals.
What new developments can we expect from ETL Systems?
Well, as we approach the IBC show in Amsterdam, which is a very important show for us, not only to see customers but also to launch new products, we are going to be displaying a number of new developments, not least to extend our RF over fibre range, which has proven very popular with outdoor units and more compact and reliable indoor short-distance fibre. We're also going to be looking at launching a new type of RF matrix called the Hurricane, which is an ultra-compact 64 by 64 matrix, and the IBC show is going to be one of the first places that our customers can see this new design in action. I'm very pleased to say that the huge amount of work that our design team has done over the last few months has paid dividends. We're pleased to launch one of the latest, most reliable and compact RF matrices on the market. I think it will be a real game changer for the way that matrices are seen over the next few years.
Can you give examples of how ETL Systems products are playing their part in the market?
Certainly. One of the interesting statistics that has come out from our research is that our very established satellite operator market, 14 out of the 20 top operators use our switch matrices and RF products in their downlink and uplink chains. And I think that is a good example of how they're playing an extremely dependable and reliable role for the satellite operators. But obviously, they're not the only customer, and we also cover many other unique sectors, such as the marine industry. And cruise liners is something that I've learned a lot about over the last 5 to 10 years. And I'm pleased to say that nearly 30 out of the world's 50 largest cruise liners have RF equipment on board to downlink live SATCOM's traffic into the cabins they're used for entertainment purposes around a ship. And that has been a real growth sector for us, and we're very pleased with that statistic. In addition to the SATCOMs and broadcast market, we obviously work very closely with the government and military market. We've just had an order for one of the largest Vulcan matrices that we've ever designed. These are 128 by 128 RF routers covering L-band, and the project we're working on at the moment is well over 512 outputs, which is one of the greatest challenges that we've had. It is a particularly good customer, very reliable, who really understands what they want out of RF equipment, and they're coming over shortly to do a factory acceptance test here at our UK manufacturing facility in Hereford. This gives us real hands-on experience and makes us understand how many people are relying on switch matrices to run signals rather than using the old technology such as patch panels. The other area that we're seeing great growth in is the telecoms industry. As they see more streaming live traffic to handhelds, we're seeing the telecoms market become more like a traditional broadcaster. We're working at the moment with 2 or 3 of Europe's largest broadcasters to turn them into standard teleport operators. There, for example, they're using our smaller Enigma and Vortex L-band matrices to switch live traffic into their system. And I think certainly telecoms is going to play a major part in our growth over the next few years. And then finally, our Stingray RF over fibre. The changes there have been about automation and about signal quality. And I mentioned earlier, for an engineer, often forgotten but extremely important in their master control rooms, they want to be able to rely and have peace of mind knowing that their equipment up on the roof is going to be working 24/7, 100%. And this is why we've been very successful with our Stingray RF over fibre range, which has all those features built in, not just our new outdoor units, but also our indoor units, which have redundancy, all have automation built into them. And this fundamentally means that teleport operators can rely on ETL's designs to provide reliable traffic, and traffic that is going to be bringing them in constant revenue without any problems. And fundamentally, as a manufacturer, that's what we've got to provide our customers.
Andrew, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kevin. It's been great to see you, and thank you for coming here to ETL this afternoon.